So tonight, the battle plan is unlocked for everybody. I want you to go look at that battle plan, mark up your chart, and come trade with us live tomorrow morning on YouTube. Links are below. This morning in the AM briefing, I said, let's say we were to open up though, and we did get a strong move to the north. If we got a strong move to the north, I'm going to monitor once again really closely what happens here. Do we bust back in and give another opportunity to get long here to target from the bottom of the range to the top of the range? Well, unfortunately, my Zoom did not record this morning. I don't know if it has anything to do with the Amazon server outages or not, but it didn't record. No big deal. We're just going to talk about it out loud. So if you were with me in the group or on AM briefing this morning, you'll know I went long here off of our battle plan trade number 2, kept a runner overnight, targeting coming up into and underneath the range. And as we got up there, I locked in 40 points, and then I locked in 50 points. Right here, you can see 250, 1 MES. Anywhere between 50 and 60 is where I told the group, if you're long, this is a great place to TP, because if this thing is going to reverse, this is an interesting location for that to happen. And so I captured 50 points on that move. If you TP'd there or you weren't long yet, you got another opportunity to reload long. I mapped out exactly what I mapped out in the AM briefing. I said, if we get back up over this, this is your long, and we're going to target up here. What were we targeting? Well, we're targeting the filling of the single prints from the Friday vomit day 2 Fridays ago. And if you took this trade with multiple contracts, we talk about peeling off 2 of them at there was an IB high here, and it was right at a 10-pointer. Take profit, keep a runner back. If you just had one contract, you don't have as many options. You either follow it 50%, or my recommendation was go ahead and take your 10-pointer and be happy, because there were no entries here for us, and we did open up strong coming to the top of the range with a beautiful bounce. This is where I TP'd. You can see the little X here. I was just showing the group where my stop was. Get back up over it, go long. And if you did multiple contracts and you're holding your final lotto runner at your entry, you are still long, trying to target the single prints and the top of the range. So I was wrapping up editing this exact video and look at the chart and see that we're charging here towards the single prints. And so this was really nice, because this was a great area to TP, and this was a great area to reload long. Now, I missed this reload long because, to be honest, I was adding 2 new members to all the indicators, and I simply missed this entry when it happened. And boy, talk about a beautiful touch and go. Like no heat, just beautiful. And if you had a single runner, a single contract, you're probably not in this. But if you had multiple contracts and you kept a single runner back, you are in this trade. If you were long from last night's battle plan trade number 2, and you really wanted to give as much of an effort to the bulls as possible, this would have been a great add-on. So you could have chose to add on there risk-free, and now you got double the leverage in a beautiful trade location, marching towards the single prints. In either case, if you had more than one contract, I would certainly look to TP here just in front of the single prints. And let's switch over here, and you can see that NQ, as we were saying in the entire Zoom this morning, that it looks like NQ is going to target and hit its all-time high today. It is not that far. And so if you're long, you want to monitor also NQ as it comes into its all-time high. All right, we're getting very close to the single prints now. If you did battle plan trade number 2 last night, kept back a runner at like 10 points where I did, and you woke up and got this really nice move, you had a couple choices. One, continue playing perfect chess with your runner. If it hits the single prints, that's an 87-point trade first day of the week. If you exited like I did here at the bottom of the range, understanding where you're at on the chart, that's no problem, because the goal then would have been to reload here. If this thing would have came back in, which would not have been a shock, you maximized your profit for that move, knowing where you were on the chart. Now we got back above, you could have reloaded long there, and you really would have lost nothing as far as the number of points captured on the day. But if you did your battle plan trade number 2, kept a single runner back, you're playing perfect chess according to our 3 contract system taught in the Core Strategy Academy. You are still long. Is it possible for this to become a 100-pointer? You bet. It's got to break above the range, though, and that's going to be a little challenging in my opinion. Now, let's go check NQ. Where's NQ? NQ is getting closer and closer to its all-time high. Now, that doesn't mean NQ can't keep going to the north, and we hit our all-time high as well. But once again, know where you're at on the chart. There's nothing wrong with taking some profit and knowing that you can reload if you want, if you're given the opportunity. So we are getting really close to hitting our target from the morning Zoom and the AM briefing. So congratulations to the traders who either got long in battle plan trade number 2, kept a single runner back, maybe even added once we got back into the range right here. And congratulations to the traders who chose not to trade in the overnight session. They want to trade RTH only. You waited for this mapped out trade to develop, and you've got the touch and go. Multiple contracts, you are still long coming into the single prints. So if you went long there, you captured 10 points on your first 2 contracts, and this one's going to be at least 20 points. So one of the things I recommended this morning, that as you're coming into the single prints, you have 2 choices. As it gets really close to the single prints, maybe go ahead and move your stop to capture 20. All right, because we are entering the top of the range. What typically happens at the top of the range? This is a better place to be looking for a short than a long. Okay, and what do we do at the bottom of ranges? It's a better place to look for a long than a short. So knowing where you're at on the chart is absolutely critical, and knowing which trade you're looking for. How many shorts do you think we were calling out on this move? Absolutely zero. Absolutely zero. Now, when we were entering this range here, we were dropping in time frames looking for evidence. Does this thing want to reverse? It never ever presented evidence that it wanted to reverse. There were no shorts. In fact, I said I wouldn't be shorting this if I were you. We were looking for longs and longs only, and longs is what was paid, and longs is the right side of price action. And if you can stay on the right side of price action often enough, mapping out your trades, taking those trades, keeping a runner, you are going to do very well trading ES. You're going to do very well. What you have to do is in between, during the waiting between setup 1 and setup number 2, that you don't be stupid. Your DOM is closed. There's no trade in between. You wait. It's the waiting that pays the most. Not moving your stop up continuously. It's the waiting that will pay you the most. And always being aware of, where am I at on the chart? And that's the whole purpose of the battle plan, in all honesty, is keeping you on sides with the right trades at the right trade locations on the chart, putting the odds of success on our side. Now, I want ES to get up there and grab those darn single prints so I can get this video wrapped up and get it on YouTube and start planning for the battle plan tonight. Typically about this time, I'm start looking at the chart, thinking about where do I want to engage in price. Now, the truth is we don't know where price is going to end yet, but I'm already planning what is that next trade. Where's the next trade location we're interested in? And here we are. I honestly thought that would be a little easier pop to getting to the single prints because it's very thin price action there from Friday. And this isn't high resistance, but it is slow. That is for sure. You keep that runner back. You keep that runner back. So if you had those 3 contracts and you were here, now at this point, I would definitely go ahead and capture 10 points. Go ahead and make sure, because you deserve to get part of that. Go ahead and move your stop now to here. And if it comes back down, it's going to take your 10-pointer. If this thing pushes up with a bit of a vengeance, move it to a 20-pointer. And if for some reason this thing just goes crazy, cool. you're happy for it. But we know we are now entering the top of the range, and it's going to be, I just don't want to be looking for longs here. I'm not shorting this. Bulls control, but we are entering the top of the range, so you must know where you are at. And part of my job is to continually reinforce these basics over and over till they become second nature to you. All right, let's check back in on price. Super slow price action. We have a 2.7 ATR on a 3-minute chart. Just 2.6 ATR now. Just super, super low, super, super slow. No volatility at all. Your goal is to be long here and still holding long. So from the battle plan trade number 2 last night, the 100 pointers up here. What's this 200? You know what this is? This is my long from Friday morning at like 1 a.m. that I accidentally got out of on Friday. And when I entered that trade, I said, I believe I have 100 to 200 pointer on my hands. I had 2 contracts, took one off at 100, and here's the 200. So I am still mentally trading that trade, although I accidentally, through a trader error, exited the trade at 60 points instead of holding that runner. So I'm still mentally trading that because I wanted us to get to the top of the range, and I would have TP'd probably right there at that 200 points, because what a beautiful trade that would be. But you know what? You miss a trade, you make a trader error, things like that happen. What do? You wait for the next trade. There is another high probability trade around the corner. You just have to wait. You just have to wait. That's all. And so back to the slow grind to the north. All right, maybe it'll do the push this time. I keep trying to just catch the recording where the thing pops up and gets there. It's almost there. Does it really matter if it's 5 more points up? Not really. It really doesn't matter. But, you know, you like it to reach target. It seems like grabbing the completion of those single prints would be a little easier than it's making it. But we are laddering up. There's 0 sellers. You don't need to be one of them. At this point, because of the slow price action, really, there's nothing to do but hold your runner. All right, it's looking like it's going to do it this time. We'll see. So as I said, if you are long with 3 contracts down here and you had your final runner, I would move my stop up to capture the 10 here. There's no sense in giving that back. It's almost at target. And then second target here is, and of course, the final target would be the all-time high. So if you wanted to continue just playing perfect chess, absolutely nothing wrong with that. We just know we're at the top of the range, and we know what tends to happen at the top of the range. Let's flip over and check out NQ. We're pushing. We are all on the same train. Don't be shorting this. Hold that runner. Hold that runner. Man, I hate I didn't get my entry here. Literally, I was putting people into adding them to indicators, and I originally had an order here for this first candle, and then I got busy, and I went, you know what? You cancel your order. Cancel your order. If I can't give trading 100% of my focus, I can't trade. So, no big deal. I'm happy for the traders who did get long. My goodness, we are just hovering and stalling right here. Bulls control. Play is already longer flat. We are now entering into the red section of the range. I wouldn't be longing here, and you can't short. So what's the third option? Wait in your runner or do nothing. One of the new traders to our group this morning made a couple comments that I thought was really kind. He said, "This is the wise way to trade. Your method brings the wisdom and understanding that I was missing, and it forces me to be patient." That probably is a good thing, isn't it? That's probably a good thing. Then a little bit later, he remarked, wise, I tell you. And actually that was me telling him to stop trading for the day. He had a 30 pointer overnight with our Battle plan trade number 2, he locked in 10 points on this trade during Zoom, and I was telling him, you're done. And he says, I can't trade this afternoon. And I said, when is enough? Remember this morning's tip of the day in the AM briefing? Be happy when you make more than 10 points. Green over greed. Yeah, this is my first day so far. $200 locked in. It would be closer to $400 if I hadn't messed up last night. Yeah, I try to encourage him to keep that runner back and don't touch it. It's no big deal, you know. But yeah, and this way makes trading super enjoyable. I'm not panic pushing buttons anymore. And those are great words. I do appreciate that. Glad you became a member and glad I could help you do that. I'm very interested to know how your day ends. Did you stay green? Did you tell the chart no? Did you stay away from trading? I really want to know how that wrapped up, Brian. All right, this is going to be my last little video, hoping that thing gets up to the single prints. So at this point, because we're in the red and we're dojiing up here, I wouldn't be afraid at all to pull this thing up and take your 20-pointer up here, okay? Like we talked about that. Once it got near those single prints, if you wanted to take your 20-pointer, take your 20-pointer. If this was live right now and I'm long, I'm going to pull this thing back to 15 points. I'm going to pull it back to 15 points. I'm going to give them one more chance to turn around and get up there and get it, but I know I'm in the red zone. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Remember, the battle plan is unlocked tonight, and if you want to trade with us live tomorrow, we will be on YouTube trading live the entire morning session.